Hey friends, welcome back to Stappystamper. My name is Terry Stapp and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator located in Central Texas. Today we're going to talk about Christmas Words Collage Hybrid Embossing Folder Part 2. Last week we talked about the hybrid embossing folder and used it as an embossing folder. We used the spotlight technique and the sanding technique to make a card. This week, we're going to talk about the hybrid part that cuts out and embosses. And then we're also going to talk about a gift card box. So if you are a Paper Pumpkin subscriber and got the November 2025 Paper Pumpkin Kit, where we made the gift card boxes, I do have a video on some alternatives for that. And we can consider this an alternative number 2, I suppose, because I have the template. I created a template if you wanted to create more gift card boxes and then use the tags, the patterned tags dies, and the Christmas Words embossing folder, hybrid embossing folder. You can combine all three and make yourself more gift card boxes. I've also seen where like 2 Ghirardelli and other candies will fit inside. So if you don't want to give a gift card, you just want to have a little treat box, that would work too. But this is what we're going to make today. Alrighty, here we go. So here's your template. Let me pull this up so you can see the whole thing. The paper that you're going to need is a 6 by 7 inch piece of paper. So it measures 6 inches by 7 inches. On the 6-inch side, so 6 inches is across the top, you're going to score at 1/2, 1, 5, 5.5. When we have the 7 inches across the top, so 7 inches is across the top here, you're going to score at 1/2 inch, 3 1/4, 3 3/4, 6.5. And then I colored in all of the pieces that you're going to cut out. So you cut out, there's going to be 2 little squares here. You cut out this rectangle. You cut out this square. You cut out this square, this square, this square. There's a long rectangle that you cut out, and then 2 little squares right over here that you also cut out. Now these marks right here are all marks where you're going to miter. So the white part is what you have left. And once you cut this out, you're left with this long rectangle. Well, these are going to want to fold in. This is going to fold in. You're going to want to miter those corners. So there's a square corner right here. Okay. And you're just going to take your scissors and cut off a little bit of that edge. Same here. You're going to go bloop with your scissors, bloop with your scissors, and you're going to make a V cut right there, and it's going to leave these little tab looking things. So you're going to miter here. This one, I just started here. Actually, let me get my red pen. Okay. I just did the whole thing. So I mitered this corner, and then I took my scissors and I went from here to here and just cut through both of those. Don't cut here, just right here. Okay, around this edge, I mitered this corner. Same thing on this side. Let me get my pen out. Okay, I just went all the way from here. I made one big cut right here. And then I mitered this little corner, same thing on the other side. And then this little divot right here is, I just used my 1/2-inch hole punch and stuck my paper in, and I just took out a little divot in the center. Okay, so I'm going to leave this here for just a second. And I'm going to turn it so you can see. Turn it that way too. Pause the video if you need to. All right, friends, let's go ahead and cut the pieces that need to go away for our gift box. I have a piece of Pool Party. It is cut at 6 inches by 7 inches. Across the 7-inch side, it is scored at 1/2, 3 1/4, 3 3/4, 6 1/2. Across the 6-inch, so with the 6-inch at the top, it's scored at 1/2, 1, 5, 5 1/2. And I went ahead and burnished at each of the score lines to make it a little bit easier for you to see what I was cutting. Okay. All right. So I'm going to position my paper. I have the 6-inch side facing away and facing towards me, with the 7-inch sides on the side, to the left and to the right. On the side that's facing me, all I'm going to do is cut out this little square and this little square. You see that little square right there? There's 2 of them. I just want to cut off that one. So I'm going to take my scissors, cut there and there, cut there and there. That's it on that one side. Okay, now I'm going to turn it to where what I just cut out is facing away from me and the other 6-inch side is facing towards me. Now, I'm going to do a lot of cutting on here. I'm going to take out these 2 squares, this rectangle, and this square, these 2 squares, this rectangle, and this square. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to take out the 2 squares and these 2 squares. Now I'm just going to cut the rectangle and the square off together. I don't need to cut them out separately. They just both need to go. So I'm cutting up the rectangle and then into the square. And then I'm going to cut that off. Okay, same thing on the other side. I'm going to go ahead and start here. This is the end of the square that I don't want. And then I'm going to start here with the rectangle and just cut that part away. Okay, actually I'm going to go back in and make sure it's on that score line really well. All right, that looks great. Okay, here's my 6-inch side. the first one, and then the other side was the 6-inch side, and I cut away the 2 squares, the rectangle, and one of the squares. Now the next thing I need to do is miter the corners. All that means is I'm just going to cut away some of the bulk, so when I glue it together and fold it up, it folds nice and neat. There's not some extra little piece that's hanging over that so my box doesn't fold properly. It has a weird bulge in it or something like that. So here's the side. This is the one where I cut away the 2 squares and the rectangles. All I'm going to do here, I just want to take this corner off and that corner off. And I'm going to turn it, and I want to take that corner off and that corner off. Okay, that's pretty simple. Let's come over here. This is the one that was the 7-inch side. So this is going to be one of my tabs. I can go ahead and cut, here's my score line, okay? And I can go ahead and I can just cut my V. So I did that side, and then I'm going to come over here on the right side of my score line and then just cut a little bit out right there. So it makes like a little V. Okay, now I have another score line right here. I can do the same thing. I'm going to come over here and cut up to that score line. This all needs to be mitered. I'm just going to give it one cut. I'm going to cut through both of those rectangles just like that. Okay, same thing on this side. I'm going to cut right there and right there. And then I'm going to take the corner right there. Okay, let's turn it around. Just like this, and we're going to do the same thing. So here's the one, that score line. I'm just going to make that V cut. Okay, I'm going to start on the left-hand side, take a little corner, go to the right-hand side, take a little corner. Now I'm going to do this one. I'm going to start on the right-hand side, take a little corner. This is the one I want to take the whole from both of the rectangles. So I'm going to start down here and aim towards that score line. Take out both pieces like that. Okay, same on this side. Here's my score line. I want to go right up here to this top score line. I'm going to take this part out, and then I'm going to take that out, and then I'm going to take off this little corner right there. Okay, now you have your box all scored, all burnished, all cut, and you are ready to fold it up and put it together. All right, so once you have that, the top of your box is opposite the corner with the divot, or opposite the side with the divot. So the divot is the bottom of the box. This is your flap that folds and tucks in, so the top of your box is right here. It measures 2 3/4 by 4, and that's important because we're going to decorate the top of our box. So this is what I want to show you. In fact, what if I do this and superimpose this over that template? Does that help a little bit? So you can see all the pieces that were cut off. Those are my two squares. There's that long rectangle. There's that little square. Okay. And then here's what I was talking about, where I started here. I cut the divot, cut the V right here, but for this one, I just started, instead of starting here, because I have this extended piece, I went and I cut from here to here. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, same thing on this side. I just put my scissors right here, and I was aiming for that little fold right there, that crease, and I went and cut right there, and then I cut this little V right there. Okay, all right, so this is what you're left with. And I've taken my bone folder, and I have scored, not scored, I have burnished all the edges very, very well. I also decorated the top. Now remember, the top is on the opposite side of the divot that we cut out. So I know the top is 2 3/4 by 4. So I cut a piece of designer series paper using the Traditions of Christmas. And I cut that at 2 5/8 by 3 7/8. And then I cut a piece of red, real red cardstock, and that was 2 1/2 by 3 3/4. And I just went ahead and glued that on first. Before putting the box together, I felt like that would be easier to glue this down on top of the box before I actually put it together. So let's go ahead and put our box together now. Let me see if I can bring you down a little bit more. And it's really easy to come together. We're going to start with the bottom of the box. So I have 2 tabs here and 2 tabs here. And then this one folds, so it's kind of a double tab. It folds and it folds up to make the side. So what's going to happen is these 2 tabs are going to fold in, and then this tab folds over. Here we go. Okay, that folds over. So the tabs are stuck on the inside. Now, if you got the paper pumpkin kit, you didn't need any adhesive because there was a little cut right here and a little tab, and you folded them over and they just went in. I did not do that. We're going to use adhesive. So I'm going to put it together. And I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive. I'm using my liquid glue on the back of that tab, the back of that tab, and then the top part of this one. So these are going to fold in. Be patient with it. And then this is going to fold over. Oh, my tab popped out. That one's in. And that one's in. Okay, I'm just going to hold it for a little bit. There we go. That side is done. Okay, let's do the other side the same way. Let's fold this tab in. And this tab in, we'll put a little adhesive. And then on the top part of this right here, we're going to add more adhesive. These are going to come in. And this is going to fold over. Okay, y'all, that forms our box. Let me put the pin back in my glue real quick so it doesn't dry out. Okay, that's the box. So you have a tab here and then tab here, and all of those tabs just fold and go inside the box, just like that. There's your box. Now the top was already decorated with the paper, but we're not going to give it like that. Kind of emulating the paper pumpkin kit once again, I made a little tag with a banner cut, and then I used the pattern tag dies. So the pattern tag dies come with, well, technically there's 5 dies. The other little die I didn't use, it's this little thing right here, like a hole reinforcer or something. I did not use that. But it comes with 3. So it cuts out the stripes, it cuts out the poinsettias, and then it cuts out like the pine leaves. Okay. For this one, I went with the stripes, and I cut this one out of the Secret C cardstock. Okay. Then I used this tag, just cuts out kind of like that base. And I used it to cut out 2 things. I cut out some designer series paper, sticking with the traditions of Christmas. I cut that out. And then I also cut out a white piece so that I can put my to and from. What's going to happen, just like the paper pumpkin kit, is I have my dimensionals on the back. These are going to stick to the top of the box, and it's going to sit on top like that. But you need some way, so this is not stuck together, so you need some way to where you can look and see who the gift is to. Okay, so this doesn't stick, this sticks, and then I wanted a white back so that I could write the to and the from. So I put all of those pieces together, and then I used the embossing folder, the hybrid embossing folder. So if you're not familiar, let me pull this back up so you can see. If you're not familiar with hybrid embossing folders, it's hybrid because it does 2 things. Last week, we just used it as an embossing folder. So we put some cardstock in here. We ran it through, fold first. We ran it through the machine, the cut and die cut machine, and just embossed. Now, here's the hybrid part. So it has this piece that fits on the inside. You put your paper in this case I used the gold foil. You put your paper in, you run it through, and it cuts out and embosses all of those words. So you don't have to fussy cut any of these things. You have Happy Christmas, Fa La La, Holly Jolly, all of these, kind of like confetti there. And you can make all of the different cards. So I chose one for the first example. I chose Ho Ho Ho. And then probably this one's going to go to my mom. She gets a gift card every year to one of her favorite stores. So if you're watching, hey Mom, I know that's not a surprise. You're getting a gift card for part of your Christmas gift. So Merry Christmas. For hers, I chose Joy. And all I'm going to do is peel off the backings here. And center this on the top of the box. So there you go. You have your tag, You can say, oh, it's Christmas morning. Who's getting this? Oh, to Mom. There we go. She can open it up just like that. We'll have her gift card in there. And then Merry Christmas. Knowing her, she'll probably save it and give it to somebody else and reuse the box. So that's a good thing. I'm not wasting my time making making crafty things that will get thrown in the trash. Okay, that's it for today. I have changed my sign off, so I will have another video next week where we will be making another card. I'm going through all of the things that we made this past week for the Crafternoon that I hosted at my house. And so we'll have videos from each of those things. And until then, Stappy stamping.